Hello, everybody, and welcome, of course, to another art style kamikaze.
You started it without me.
I did, but that's okay. You were here a second ago. I'll give you credit that I started this without you.
Well, I'm gonna leave again.
Oh,
Clearly, you enjoy doing this without me.
wow! It's just going to be an empty space now. You're going to see a big green camera box at the bottom of the screen, folks.
It's gonna show how alone you are.
So I thought today. Have you know what the rule of thirds is?
Garbage.
What are you? Whoa!
Sorry.
No, what are you talking? Why are you always contrarian? Do you know what that means? You understand what the word contrarian? You're Gen Z, so I have to be careful.
Oh, come on.
What?
Are you serious?
What?
Like you're not the most contrarian person to ever exist.
No, I'm not saying I'm not contrarian. I'm just talking about vocabulary.
Oh.
Oh, ow! Ow. You do understand what contrarian is.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now.
So, but you're always contrarian to this all the time. It's like, geez, man.
You told me to do that.
Huh?
You told me to.
I did not.
Yeah, that's what
Well,
it says on
okay.
the
So,
script.
look, the point is rule of thirds, right? Rule of thirds in composition is basically that's you cut something in threes, and you kind of where the lines meet. That's where.
Yeah. I get the gist.
Right.
It's easier to look at lines on a piece of paper than to try and describe why they're there. Because I can understand it when I'm looking at it, but then I try to explain it, and it all falls apart.
Oh well, I tell you what. Let's go ahead. Let's run the show, and come back, and we'll discuss a little bit more. Sound good?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
The views and opinions expressed within the video content found on the Indie Comics Network are those of the speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of the Indie Comics Network or its sponsors.
But anyway, all right. So you have the rule of thirds, blah blah blah. The rule of thirds tells you basically, oh hey everybody, welcome of course to Art Style Kamikaze again. I'm Steve Michael Lending, independent artist,
I'm Jaden Landing.
two-time failed host on this show. How you doing? What's up, Mike? Mike's in the chat saying, hell yeah, Art Style Kamikaze.
Always.
Well, we'll find out. We'll see what kind of show this turns out to be. So I thought, okay, so Jaden, go ahead. You want to introduce yourself? Go right ahead.
I'm Jaden.
See, she doesn't have the green screen, so she's able to wear her Gur
I
cap.
wear my Gur hat.
That's right. Now you're
I'm
all
so
styling. The fact that Gur is considered such a cute creature or character
It's like
now,
Hello Kitty.
it's contrary.
Oh, is it?
It's very
Is
contrary.
it? 'Cause I think he's cute.
Like,
Although I will say his most popular form in the dog suit, much uglier than just his robot. I think he's way cuter without it. I don't know why that one didn't go as viral as the dog did.
because it's a dog.
Mm.
It's a dog. That's all.
Gur
it is.
is evil.
That's right. Gur is evil. Yes, my lord. Absolutely. So anyway, compositions. We're going to some compositions, and one thing that you're taught is right off the bat is the rule of thirds in the composition, which we'll probably go over because we're going to look at Loomis's book of creative illustration. He kind of goes over some composition stuff, and the thing about it is huh?
Use some of those methods.
Of Loomis, Andrew Loomis. I get simple names messed up. I was telling Chad this today. I said I get simple names like Tim and Tom, Bob and Bill, Andrew and Anthony, those type of things. Puss in Boots. What?
I said Chris.
Chris and Crips. Crips. What?
Oh, this is the Bloods channel.
Oh wow! Don't be putting them fields out there. So anyway, I thought we'd go over a little bit of his stuff. We've got some stuff from Etherington Brothers that kind of give us an idea of unique compositions to help us really, do art goodly, right? These kind of things will help people think that you know what you're doing.
Exactly. Make it look like you have an idea when you started the art thing.
The art thing. Well, and I thought about trying to, maybe we'll put some stuff on paper. We'll use some stick figures or whatever the case is, because there's not going to be much I can do live. Otherwise, they're really, really going to be bored. Art Crumbs, what's happening? Art Crumbs says, "Heyo, heyo, Art Crumbs, welcome to Art Style Kamikaze." And like I said, so what we'll do is we'll go over something. I'm not going to sit here and read all of Loomis's intelligent paragraphs about what it is to be composition. But this is being taken from Creative Illustration, which is a book that is out there in the sphere of art sphere, right? The art sphere. It's very art style. So I'm going to totally bother you with that, huh?
No, I thought we were done.
No, we are never done with art style.
You didn't do it the entire time.
It's all art styles. All right, Art Crumbs is working on some manga pages while I listen. Oh, excellent. You know what? Here's the thing. So I got those Shonen Jumps, right? And I went back the next day and got more from when we did it last week.
I remember saying he's never going back to that bookstore.
No, they still have some. So I probably will go back to that bookstore. But what's interesting is, so I'm looking at a certain manga that's in the Shonen Jump. And some of the compositions in those panels for that certain manga is really, it really stands out. Well, as well as I do, you watch the anime. We've talked about some of the drastic compositions that are made, that are there.
And
so
the thing that you were talking about, that you are speaking of.
Right. I'm not anything in particular.
No.
No, not at all. Anyway, so let's go. Let's see. Let's pull this down, and let's talk about some unique compositions. So, of course, we go over line as proportion with imagination. Can you construct a head in any pose? A planned head construction, and of course, that's one thing Loomis is really known for. It's got a box to kind of understand head construction. Now there's what's his name? Rodgan? Yeah, right. He does a lot of tutorials every freaking day. The guy has something new. Which is great. But he doesn't like the Loomis method.
He doesn't.
He does not. The Loomis method is, kind of a box and cubes and stuff like that.
I've used that method for years. I've only recently stopped using it.
Well, you kind of progress, right? And I think his deal was you couldn't understand the Loomis method unless you had some skill in it already. And I don't know if I necessarily agree with that. I think sometimes some of us are just square, and that's how we look at it. I'm a square person. I'm not a round person. I'm a square. Well, I am a round person, but I'm not a square person.
The same construction for every single head you do, because heads are all built different. Like there's the basics, but usually like width and length and stuff like that, it's going to vary. It's hard to keep it in the same box.
Well, just like any other tutorial, the thing about this is that you have to. It's a construction that starts at the very basics, so that you understand and put into your head how it works, how to think when you're drawing it.
Is that a segue?
Huh?
Is that a segue?
No, not really. I've tried to get over here to. Let's see. R. Crumb says this episode is perfect to help me. I need to learn composition better. I think that's one thing that's always the case.
Even better.
And that's to be a student of composition. I think is eternal.
Oh yeah.
Or infinite. Well, eternal, because infinity is you've always were. Eternal is, or eternal is. Anyway, regardless, it's something you're going to do it forever. So line. So we see here, line produces formal design. We got a whole bunch of designs that I could never do in my imagination, or whatever the case.
Those adult coloring books. It's just a bunch of shapes.
It does, right? they
supposed to
they
calm you down.
they looked at creative illustration. Hey, say those would make some really great adult coloring books. But you know, it always bothers me when you hear about adult coloring books because I feel like that actually indicates something totally different.
Yeah, it's never sounded right. Adult relaxation coloring books. I don't know.
Yeah, it's like
It's
rated XXX. Anyway,
No,
Art Crow
Someone
says,
else
for
will
real,
know.
if you stop learning, you stop growing. And that's just the sad thing about it, is you want to keep learning. It is. So line produces informal design. And we see with a lot of stuff, you have arcs interlaced, combining horizontals and perpendiculars with curves. And my head's exploding just looking at this stuff, right?
There's a lot happening.
Huh?
There's a lot happening.
Yeah. Oblique lines interlaced, overlapping ovals, overlapping circles, overlapping squares. That I can't remember what it was. It was a murder documentary, and it was the way that they kept composing the shot was like it was a 2-story house, but you caught like the first floor roof, and then the other roof kind of like behind it in this scene or whatever the case is. And I thought, what an amazing way to have an establishing shot. And whoever did that frame needs a lot of respect.
Murder documentary?
Yeah, in a murder documentary.
What a time to get artsy.
It was I think it was Evil
lives here.
Evil lives here, right? But that's the thing. Well, here's the deal. Why you go, oh, a murder documentary? That's a weird place to find composition. Absolutely not. Because here's the deal. They're trying to give you this spooky environment. They're trying to give you this feel of they want you inside the terror of what these people experiences and the subject that they're talking about. So they're trying to hit those compositions in a certain way. For instance, it was a normal place. It was a normal house, happy household. They had no idea. So first you get the neighborhood and the nice couple walking the dog and the kids playing out in the yard, and the next shot is the side of the house. It's just sharp, 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 right?
I'll just drop the light. Continue.
Yeah, it's just sharp, 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 sharp. Like stabbing, and that's how they kind of get you right there. Yeah, see?
I get it.
Exactly. Never underestimate the artistic integrity of any media, unless it comes from Disney now. Anyway, and with that, overlapping triangles, overlapping. What is that word? It says it's RADII. Radii. I don't know. I don't know. It's spider webs is what it looks like to me, right here. So overlapping wavy parallels, overlapping angles, overlapping spirals, overlapping rectangles, horizontals, and perpendiculars. Can you imagine designing pieces on this grounds alone here? No, that would be insane. So it kind of shows you overlapping areas. The first principle of composition. The principle of overlapping areas, forms, and contours is the basis of all pictorial creation. Since line is our first means of defining these, then linear arrangement becomes our first consideration. There are many ways to go about it. So we see overlapping lines, which gives us a sense of depth, right?
Yeah. Third dimension.
How hard do you find it to use overlapping lines?
Pretty hard. Well, especially because I'm really weird about tangents.
Yeah.
And oh my god, every time I go over anything, I just start noticing a whole bunch of tangents.
Tangents are ways that lines that are two different objects intersect, and it makes it look like one object.
Yeah, and that makes it look flatter.
That happens a lot in compositional and when you're composing a comic book.
Really?
It really does. And when you do a sequential art, the panels don't have to touch, the lines don't have to touch, but sometimes if you know how to do it, you can actually manipulate that, which is really kind of funny, right? Because you can manipulate something that's usually frowned upon, but you can manipulate something like that into your compositions.
I guess that can make it look more unsettling.
It can make it look more unsettling. You can actually join together two panels to make it feel like it's a filled piece, but yet in different scenes, things like that. And so it's kind of like thinking like that, kind of thinking outside the box and using Okay.
Tangents are our friends.
Well, there you go. Here's the thing: tangents are not your friends per se. Although, if we talked about the
Keep
way
your
we were,
enemies close.
like we were doing a couple weeks ago with the shapes and everything, sure, they're friends like that. The ones you beat around, you
Yes, of
stretch, you
course.
knock, and everything else.
Get really
Tangents-
fat and then squish.
But tangents can be your friends as long as you understand when not to use them, right? And something I would not suggest that you consistently do in that, you know.
I hope so. I hope not. I can't
No.
speak English.
So, but overlapping lines. So that's what you have to watch for. Is this tangents? So you've heard of forced perspective, and that's where this really comes into play, right? The forced perspective, like for instance, like that first one right here, you got the broccoli and the bowl, and you got the eggs, and you got the frying pan, and you got the this, and you got that, and you're just putting all this together, and you don't want to have a tangent, but it's all overlapping lines. Do you think they put it on the grid? Maybe because it's on tiles, but I'm telling you in that next panel that you have those overlapping, but I bet you it wasn't on the grid. Why? Because it doesn't need to be.
Doesn't?
No. Because here's the deal. You have as long as you have a sense of perspective, you can have a forced perspective that tree is in front of that bush that's behind it, right?
Yes.
Yes.
I am sort of understanding.
Okay. For instance, let's say, well, you see, Timmy. I'm totally going to clip dinosaurs. Now that I just said that.
I hate that show.
Oh, you never seen? Oh, come on. You remember dinosaurs where something happens. What's this, Professor? And the professor ends up blowing Timmy up, and he goes over, oh, we're going to need another Timmy. I'm totally going to do that to you. So going to do that to you. Hey, by the way, if you are watching right now, I'd just like to let you know we are on the IndependenceComicNetwork.com. If you're watching on Facebook or any other place, come over to YouTube because that's the best place so we can see you and interact with us at the chat. Because as we know, it is interactive.
It's interactive? You son of a bitch.
And, of course, like, share, subscribe, tell a neighbor everything that you know about the Independence. If you don't like this show, that's okay. We've got plenty of shows, and I'm sure you're going to find one that's going to be right for you. So, with that, we'll continue on.
This one isn't right for anybody.
You are on this show.
Mm-hmm.
You know that, right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's your name that's on it too.
Yeah, I have like a whole bunch of shows. I got another show coming out Thursday with Chad. Hell, we got the show coming out when we're watching the Fantastic Four 1994 version coming up Wednesday right here. That's right. We're going to Mystery Science Theater this bitch. That's what I'm talking about. But anyway, with that, so here's the deal.
I also hate that show, by the way. It's puppets.
That Facebook user, unfortunately, we don't know who you are. Come over to YouTube so we can see who you are. And it says, oh, Gerhat. That's right. Absolutely.
I personally thank you for being awesome.
So anyway, so with the overlapping, okay. Can you tell that there's depth in that second piece with the trees? Why? What is making the perception of depth? Well, let's zoom in.
Stuff in the foreground? It's really hard.
Well, let's zoom in. Okay. Right, all the stuff in the foreground. How do we know that there's a foreground?
Because it's stuff that is not that big.
Okay, it's overlapping, right? The tree's coming out right here, overlapping that, right?
Yeah.
So we know that if that tree is behind that bush, would we see the tree leaning over? No, the bush would be in front, right? So we see like just the subtlety of this edge right here. That shows us that whatever's behind that edge is in a distance, right? And look, all the way back here, we can see in small doses all those little overlapping lines. We even get a feel that those hills are layered away, right? So overlapping lines in the area is the first principle of composition. This is probably on a grid, but we can see here because of the overlapping buildings that this obviously is in front of this building way back here. Yeah. If not, that's a really tiny building next to it.
Exactly, right?
And it just doesn't come out right.
Because things are smaller or bigger than they usually would be.
So with that, I'll see this composition right here with the house. I love this because I feel like there's not these are very loose compositions. I think he threw these together like
Yeah,
that,
probably.
right? Considering he was a master of what he was doing. So, but I love the fact that we have the fence here and it just layers it. Just okay. So what you have is you have a triangle, a big triangle in the back, two rectangles in the front, and a circle, right? And just layering those right there has helped create a depth and has given it an atmosphere of what he's going for.
Yeah.
An atmosphere of being in depth. Just like, for instance, in the next one, we have the umbrella. And never fail to remember that you're tricking you're a magician.
Yeah.
As an artist, you're a magician. And you're tricking the consumer, the person consuming your art.
Because this is all on a flat surface.
Absolutely. Right.
Make it look
So
like
you're
it's
tricking them into seeing things.
Seeing.
Yes.
Like a hallucination.
Well, it's a
You're gonna
hit.
make them schizophrenic.
If you're lucky, if you're lucky enough
lucky.
that your art can cause somebody to have schizophrenia,
That would be sick.
I'm telling you.
Schizophrenia, dude. Think about it. It's deeper than
Schizophrenia?
Do you realize?
Did you just come up? That is so art style. Totally ruined that shit for you. Yeah. Okay, so with that,
I'm not gonna talk the entire rest of the stream.
what I love, what gets me is you can see in these three a totally drastic use of lines that he uses here, right? The first one is just basic shapes. Shapes. Just basic shapes.
I'll only talk about it.
Yes, Miss Pennigan. It's basic shapes. So it's just triangles, circles, rectangles, right? Couple of little odds and ends here that are a little bit more complicated. He even puts a freaking branch there. Is that branch in front of the fence? Is it behind the fence? It's behind the fence. Why? Because the fence is in front of it. That's how.
Yes.
No,
Yes.
but like, okay, you see the branch disappears behind the fence. But I think what's really interesting is what we get into with the lady in a snake charmer over here. And yes, folks, that is nudity. Just to let you know, that is
Oh my
nudity.
god.
That's right. We are TVPG and
Zoom in on that.
TYX.
Zoom.
Huh?
Enhance. Right now. I'm waiting. Yes. Enhance.
Okay, well, your head's in the way. Well, you can't do anything about it. Your head's just in the way. Yes. Okay. So, but look, she's got like snakes all over the floor, right? And I think those tiles
That is
on that
not
grid
safe.
helps us to understand the depth there.
It's not safe.
No.
Why would you want to be naked around a bunch of snakes? Sounds like a bad time.
Well, she looks like she's dancing naked in front of some people. I'm thinking like this is kind of like a Eastern motif type of thing, right? Whatever. I guess that, I don't know. Maybe that's getting me canceled.
Well, I saw the boobs. I'm happy. We can move on now.
Really?
They're mid.
Golly. So using the first function of line for itself for composition. Now, what's funny is I mentioned this earlier on Sketchy Saturday about how you always hear about the rule of thirds, but there's other ways to compose things. Rule of thirds should be the general basics of how you understand composition, right?
And then never use it again when you figured it out because it sucks.
It doesn't suck because, in all honesty, you could probably even apply the rule of thirds to these compositions at all times. But what we're trying to do is this. While the rule of thirds is not done, what we are trying to do is open up our minds to see it a little bit more than just the grid style of the rule of thirds.
You can make it squiggly.
You can make it squiggly.
You can get silly with it.
And we actually have an Etherington Brothers tutorial that shows this as far as kind of the two-line composition thing, right? So you have you just have this line, just squiggly line that just kind of flows out, and it's all like, oh. And then, of course, there's like a hill, which is what he uses it for.
It's like when you drop a hair on your phone screen. Not that you would know, of course.
Well, no, because you know what happens is people post that stuff on Facebook. Have you ever come across that?
Oh,
where they're like,
yeah.
there's something there, and it's a hair or whatever, because
But
they're
it's
trying to
actually
trick
on
you.
the picture.
Right.
They do that in ads all the time.
I know, right? And
I came across
I think you
one
fall for it.
with a moving flea on it, and I kept like get off, get off. I was about to throw my phone, and then I realized it was inside of the phone.
Oh, you were fooled by that?
Shut up. Yes, I was. Now shut up.
Oh, wow.
Who wouldn't be, right?
William
Right?
Pace. Camp of who? Sounds like work to me. It is work. It's work to try to train yourself to see this. And some people have gotten it so naturally, I hate them.
That's not naturally whatever. They're going to be bad at other things that you probably are pretty good at.
I can think of it, but I'm not going to say it live. What's interesting, okay, so even this, you have to think outside the conventional.
You almost said box because grid. Get it? To get it? To get it? He's throwing stuff at me. He's looking for something else to throw. Oh, shoot. He's going to break everything. Oh, my God.
Don't you throw it. Anyways.
You don't have a hat to protect you.
I don't have hair to protect me. Don't. Anyway. So, but what's interesting, look at the next two boxes, right? So you got okay, that's obviously the tree, the hill, and the hill. The lines don't always have to be hills, right? Please tell me that's not what we're looking at. But then he sticks, like, okay, so don't look at the lines. Look at the negative space in between them. Okay? Negative space being if you don't know, and that's okay, you don't know.
It's so chaotic. Where is I guess the middle point would be where they cross, right?
Invader Zim is in trouble. This point right here, I don't think he's using it like that. I don't think he's using it in a sense, and I'm sure if we read it, he's probably not. But he's not using it in the sense of how we were looking at the three grid, right? Where the lines connect, that's where you put something. No, this is just in itself. See, this is what I was talking about, grids grimly.
Say that again?
Okay.
The what?
He did it. Okay, he did the Guillermo del Toro Pokemon. Pokemon. What the fuck am I talking about? I got one piece on the brain, and then I just kind of infected everything.
These things are all connected.
I don't know why. Anyway, well, no, okay, so he did the Guillermo del Toro Pinocchio.
Oh, yes.
All right, it's got that weird. I'm trying to make sure I got his name right because God knows I can't get names right to save my life.
Well, we've already been over this.
Like Netta in there, my wife Netta.
Netta.
Yeah. Okay.
That's embarrassing.
Gris
Her name
Grimley.
was Mom.
Gris Grimley, which I was right. Gris Grimley is the one who designed that Pinocchio for Guillermo del Toro. Well, I'm not wild about that Pinocchio at all. The designs have a uniqueness to them, right?
Oh yeah.
Okay. Well, what I noticed when I ever first discovered Gris Grimley, which way beyond before Pinocchio came out, which made me want to see Pinocchio because it sure as hell wasn't Guillermo del Toro. Okay, here's the thing about Guillermo. He's so hit and miss sometimes, but he does beautiful work when it's not trying to be fantasy, aside from, with the exception of that being Pan's Labyrinth. He should do more like that.
So complicated.
It just goes to show you up and downs. Like his Nightmare Alley, which doesn't really have a supernatural twist to it.
Guillermo?
Yes. Doesn't have a supernatural twist to it, but it was beautifully done. I enjoyed the movie very much. Crimson Peak. Or no. Yeah, Crimson Peak.
Right one.
Yeah, Crimson Peak. Beautifully done film, boring movie.
It had Tom Hiddleston's butt. So that's why I'm not watching it. I refuse to. That's Loki. Like, I don't want to see him like that.
You don't want to see a naked Loki?
No.
I think a
I'm
lot
sure a lot of people would. I'm not
one
one of that majority. Sorry.
But he understands. He does understand how things are beautiful. Look at Pan's Labyrinth. I just don't understand some of the choices that he's made in some other things.
Maybe we could ask him. Since you're
No,
watching
that's good.
Guillermo, you can come on anytime. He's a huge fan. Haven't you heard?
Oh. No. Anyway.
I think people love
I am not hitting on Guillermo del Toro because I think that would be, for me to sit there and bash a famous director would be really stupid, for one. And two,
like,
I don't feel like putting that kind of negative energy out there
yeah.
because
Only love.
love.
Sometimes.
Love. I mean, he got Grizz Grimley to design Pinocchio. That's a brilliant move. That's a brilliant. Not to mention, if you've never seen
It's
the
a
Devil,
nice looking movie.
the Devil's Backbone, which was like his first movie,
I don't think I have.
that was great. Yeah, I like Devil's
Pinocchio
Backbone.
looked great, but the story lost me
What?
of Pinocchio. Guillermo's.
I don't know why it went that way. I really don't. Because like
it was all over the place.
okay, so Pinocchio dies and he goes back and the big Sphinx thing says it just doesn't.
It was so. It felt kind of forced.
Well, yeah, the thing about it is, it's like, okay, I understand what you're trying to tell, and yeah, Pinocchio was an asshole, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah. He was
this is true.
Mischievous kid.
Right. So, but I think we kind of added aspects to it that people weren't expecting on that. You stuck that in a Pinocchio, and it's kind of like, okay, it doesn't look for me.
That year was so saturated with Pinocchio. I mean, we had like 3 Pinocchio movies come out.
Oh yeah, because you had the
Right
Tom
after.
Hanks one. I didn't watch that one. I would never watch that one. Never.
Yeah, so that, I mean, people were already kind of sick of it. The Guillermo's was the only one people were complimenting, obviously, and I think that was just because, like, what else was there? What are their options?
Like I said, it was the story that lost me on it. It wasn't the work that was put into it, which is
No,
one of
it
the
was a
cases.
beautiful movie.
Maybe I should just go back and rewatch it, because I can't tell you how many times I've actually rewatched something.
And then liked it more the second
Because,
time.
well, you know why? Because you might have expectations
That's true.
before
That's
you go
true.
into something. So I like to reserve. I like to reserve the right to be wrong.
You didn't like Napoleon Dynamite the first time you watched it.
This is true. I did not.
And that's a gem.
And the thing about Napoleon Dynamite was and I cannot tell you how many times people will tell you, watch it again. If you've only watched it once, like, I don't get this movie, because you don't understand, because it's hard to understand what the humor is that they're coming from, because it was kind of a newer thing. So
was
when you
way
go back
ahead
and
of
you
its time.
rewatch it, because what thought about it was like, home dude shaved his head because his head was hot. You know what I'm saying? And then you're like, well, that was stupid. And then the more you think about it, it's like the dude shaved his head because his head was hot. Right? I'm
I
like,
see. I'm like
okay.
you. I got it immediately because I'm part of the right generation.
Okay, well, here's the thing about your generation. It's influenced by Napoleon Dynamite.
Okay, maybe.
I mean, really, because it was an awkward comedy. The thing about that, when you had these comedies that were coming out at that point in time, were like teen comedies, American Pie, and things like that, were just kind of fuck
worst.
subtext. Fuck
Yeah,
subtext.
exactly.
Dude stuck his dick in a pie. That's funny. That's funny.
I hate this
Or
kinds of movies
or you
so
got
much.
a fat guy and a skinny guy selling drugs on the side of a fucking building. Oh, that's funny. And that's what you had. But now you have like this subtle subtextual comedy. It was hard to catch on.
Yeah, no.
But then when you think about the fact that the school bus pulls up right when the dude finally gets a shotgun to work and kills the cow in front of a school bus of kids, that's funny.
That's funny.
That's funny. Anyway,
That's funny.
what's funny is
I'd like to see someone argue with that.
but what's funny is in this composition, and the second right here where we're at, there is no lines for the school. I'm assuming it's the school marm and
Totally forgot we were talking
Yeah.
about this.
the school marm, and well, we're
Very
talking
nice.
about the composition of comedy there for a second. That's okay.
There
We
you
can
go.
do that. We're do that. We're art style kamikaze. We do what we want.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
Screw
right.
you guys. You can leave.
What is wrong with you? You're so anti everything.
Yes.
Anyway, so you got people wanting us to get back to this. People are begging us to get back to this. That's gonna hurt. Okay. Anyway, so, but the school marms and her kids are not in the composition for the lines, only the background, right? But it frames her so well. It's like, okay, the majority of her is going to be in that big piece.
That big piece.
Oh, golly, I knew you were going to say that.
In that one.
Oh, come on.
One.
Come on.
piece.
Come on.
Let them see the shirt.
No,
Let them see it.
they can't.
Let them see the
No,
shirt.
you hurt my feelings.
Okay. Or your heart on your sleeve. Or your chest. Right there.
I'm going to get a picture of you
Show it off.
just right here with the goofiest looking look, or maybe some jam.
Oh, nice.
I'm gonna
Try
Photoshop
it.
some
Try
jam.
it. Try it. I dare
Okay,
you.
so we're gonna go through these because now we've just wasted time. We're gonna go through these and we're gonna see. So this is like the curvature of the woman's spine, her sitting on the bed, even with the weight of it.
Well,
The dolphins, they don't look like dolphins. Are they catfish? Maybe those are catfish.
I can't tell.
are
Yeah,
manatees.
I think it's catfish.
I think it's catfish. What's interesting is it's got little minnows down there.
Anyway.
Because this is really what these lines are, is just to direct your eyes to what's important.
It's a line of action. Am I wrong? Isn't it? I mean,
I would, okay, to some extent, for the catfish and the woman on the bed, yes, it's a line of action. However, it's not a line of action when you look at the school mark.
I guess that's true.
But it's a line of focus. You know?
Slow.
Right. It's a line of, look here. This is, it's like arrows pointing at something. So it's a line of focus. The thing about it is being able to try to compose panels if you're a comic artist, because that's what I do.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
Aw, that's cute.
Oh, stuff like Calico Short on Arrow Comics. Check it out. Anyway, written by Randy Zimmerman. Anyway, so point is,
Show off.
so I'd like to try to add that into there, but sometimes patience isn't always a virtue for me.
For you?
Okay, so here we go. Now here's another one. Okay, so you have a line of action. The line of action is basically just her, right?
Big head.
Right, but the other two lines that are in this are here. Now, where those lines cross, nothing particular is actually happening at those lines.
No, not
Right?
Really. Is there?
No, there's not. There's not. It's actually like right at her crotch.
Tricked or like.
Well, I mean, I guess it depends
There's
on how you
not.
look at it.
There's not.
That one line that's crossing there is at her crotch, and the other one is just above her feet. So maybe they're erogenous zones. I don't know.
Right above the.
Have you,
Right above the.
come on, we've all seen a Quentin Tarantino movie, and we definitely know about what's going on with Nickelodeon. So let's not even play. Let's not play stupid.
Oh.
All I'm saying.
Someone out there. Someone out there. They'll get it.
Well, I don't know. What's happening over here is, okay, so this is kind of a complicated one, right?
Yeah, well, there's a lot of lines.
Okay, we have your line of action for her, kind of. I'm trying to follow this line over here.
How is this
It's like
the same
this.
thing?
Yeah,
I can see the round.
I could see the hill. I could see that. I could see her line of action and everything. But what's troubling me is, that just goes to show you that you should break those lines, right? Which one are you talking about?
The last one, right?
Right, yeah. I mean, you should break those lines. Those lines are a guide. They are not a rule, right? So,
Trust your judgment.
speaking of rules, here's another way that you can compose, and maybe might be a little bit easier for you to begin with, right?
Letters.
Composition may be based on letters and symbols. So,
It's always nice.
I remember seeing Jim, the Jim in comics.
Jim.
Lee?
That one.
Yeah, that one. He had talked about this before,
Not
actually.
my fault you forgot.
I was just trying to make sure, I was trying to see, give you a chance to be intelligent.
Oh, sure.
It will never happen
Okay,
again.
Dad. Okay. Sure.
Uh-huh. Anyway, so you have letter composition, right? So the T and the Y, I think those are pretty simple. X, I think X would be hard to get.
Oh yeah. Probably.
I think X would be hard to get. However, he pulls it off, but however, that's not like a proper standard X,
No.
right? Right? Look, Grant Lankard's in there. He's saying, "Nice hat."
Thank you.
Look at it. Your hat is drawing all the attention. It's like the composition of this video.
Whatever that means.
Right. So, what's in the coffee mug, Booze? If only she had to deal with what I had to deal with, you might would.
Wish.
I can't. Medication.
I can't.
it's,
Not
it's
supposed to.
it's caffeine. It's a different type of drug. And so L is a pretty simple one. S, is also considered like a line of beauty, right?
That's it.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's
So
what my spine is shaped like, so it's always a good thing.
well, yeah, that's why you see them a lot in the action line. The action things, the action Line of action. Why didn't you just help me out?
Okay.
You saw me squirming. You see that I'm freaking 40-something years
And
old.
it's
And I
hilarious.
can't keep my freaking mind straight.
It's funny.
But no, you can't seem to sit over here and actually help me
Sorry, I'm too busy
figure it out.
busting my ass laughing. You suck at word things. I'm not great at it either.
Word things. No, you're perfect, sweetheart. You're perfect. Keep up. But just put things at the end of it, and that you'll
that
be
makes it better.
Why don't you go teach English?
Why don't you go teach English things? Since you're so good at it.
Look at the damn C. That doesn't even look like a C.
No, barely.
But it is a C.
It is.
But that C is not even doing what it's supposed to do.
All
All
that C,
is just letting us see that. Let us see that guy. See? Shut up. I know you didn't mean that. Hello, Grant says you tell her. See? And Mike says, is there a difference between a line of beauty and a line of action? No, not necessarily.
Does the line have feet? Then it's a line of beauty.
I would say no. Not necessarily. I think a line of action, a line of beauty is typically a line of action. It's just a line of action. Okay, you can have a line of beauty without a line of action, maybe, in the sense of the way you compose something. I really would like to try to pull out a little bit of Aaron Blaze, because he actually shows, like, there's in his animation tutorial, he actually has a thing where he's got a guy playing a guitar and he's showing you what's taking your eye around that composition. And in that sense, if it's like an S like that, it's a line of beauty, right?
Ooh. It's a sexy line.
It's a sexy line.
Sexy line. I'm gonna remember that easier. Line of beauty. It's wordy. And I'm great with words.
Well, but line of action can also just pertain to figure inside that composition. So a line of beauty is I think is a more broad term, as opposed to the line of action, which is just is what it says. It's just dealing with the action, while a line of beauty is kind of taking you in a bolder step towards composition. Now, I could be completely wrong about that. I am not an art teacher, but that's how I see it. It's how I understand it. Jared said words are hard. Yes. Stop shouting. It's hurting my ears. That's why there's a volume switch. And C is showing us the negative space.
You're negative space in my brain. Or where it should be, at least.
So also you have a V, which of course those people down at the bottom. So, like, is that a V or is that really just a fat X? I mean, come on.
Well, I think the negative space is what makes it a V. All things considered, just right down the middle. It looks more like a stroke of lightning.
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, it's actually okay. So in that composition, your point is you're trying to show the people, right? That's your focus, right? So that V is barreling down on that focus, and it has a very, what's the word?
What is the word?
Nihilistic? No, it's like, it's very direct, very constrained viewpoint. You see, when you look, that of course is one point perspective, so it has a very narrow view.
Yeah.
Right. You see that a lot when they're trying to draw flying fast.
Oh, yeah.
You know, that kind of thing. Let's see. And in the chat, hello, Anna. She says college course here. Barely. Jared says V is pointing us towards the people, which is the focal point. Right. So V is like the perspective thing they made us do in art class.
Wish I went to art class.
We
tried.
always go to art class.
We tried. Yeah, no, I didn't have the attention.
Yeah.
I could retain.
We have the art class on YouTube.
That's actually done more because I'm able to skip through it.
I don't know if that's necessarily a good thing.
Yeah, I get to the good part.
So other letters are A, F, G, J, Q, Z. Please use a Q. Why didn't you use a Q? Okay, Loomis.
How?
Why did you not use a Q in this composition? I want to see how you do a Q.
Yeah, what would be a Q? It'd just be a circle.
It's a sunset with a fish jumping out of the water.
Aw.
What? Solved.
Solved.
That is so art style. It's so art style.
Why did I come on? I don't understand. I could have left forever ago.
Oh. And it says, luckily we had art class in high school. They make us do perspective, and V was common.
Was it?
Oh, yes. Jared says, hopefully there's no exam on this. There could be. It's the exam of life. You have to pass that test. If you're going to do the art life. Art life.
What is
I don't
he
know.
doing? What is he
I'm doing gang signs. That's art's gang signs.
That's
We've got to
gang
do it
sign?
now. We've got to do it now. Everybody's getting all worked up into different gangs and stuff over this whole technology shit. So now we got art life. What? That's art style. You don't know.
Take the L.
L as in life, right?
As in loser. That's what you are.
As exam would be fun. Anyway, so composition may be based on geometric forms. And again, this goes back to kind of what we were dealing with when we were doing the stacking geographic forms, right?
Stacking.
Jared says somewhere a crip is pissed.
As they should be.
You know what? We cause controversy right here on our style kamikaze.
You might just get
That's,
shot up.
yeah, that's right. They're going to do a YouTube drive-by.
Would be awesome.
It's just like a drive-by trolling. What do you go?
Remember to be careful. I mean, I'm sitting right in the middle window.
Somebody's in the check going, just sitting.
We look up, there's a bunch of gun and bullet emojis.
Oh, anyway, I think this one's hard for me because, you know, when you do a geographic, when you do geographic forms, you know, like you use Africa and maybe a little bit of Dublin.
Why do you think I just noticed what you said? I was like, yes, geographic.
Just go
That's
with
what rocks are,
it.
right?
Because geo is there. I mean, it's all
We
encompassing,
figured
right?
it out.
Right. So, dude, I swear this is coffee. I swear it's coffee. And mine, hers, I can't explain. I don't know. Don't tell me.
You know, I wish I could.
Do you?
Yeah.
Do you?
I
All
really
right.
do.
So
Anytime I'm around.
geometric forms. Right. All right. So again, triangles, and I'm going to show you. Ethan and brothers also have a thing to show us on triangles. So I kind of want to leave that one alone real quick. Squares again. So you're telling me that this mouse is in a round square, but see, again, these are all guidelines, right? And I don't even think that they're guidelines because I honestly think that you could probably use in the gnome, the sick gnome drawing. I'm assuming it's a sick gnome.
That's
I'm assuming
ugly.
it's a sick gnome. What?
Ugly. What
Which
is
one?
it? What do you think I'm talking about?
This one?
Yes, clearly. It kind of looks like you.
You're so cruel.
You can see it, right?
You're so cruel.
No, just kidding.
Anna says sits and listens.
You better.
Nina's Jared says she's Nina's kid. She already sus.
It's him too. It's him too. Don't be fooled. Just because he doesn't do it on camera.
Just don't do it on camera. That's right. No, I have tact. It's not something you get from my side of the family.
No, it's not.
Anyway, so
Familial shade.
but I think that you can actually do these in a different type of way too. Because I mean, like for instance, he could be a triangle. Here, the guy sitting on the stool. Obviously, that could be circles here. So I think what we're looking at when we're talking about geometric forms and things are stuff that helps you deal with it. It's kind of like we go back to earlier when we were talking about Rogdon.
Rogdon,
Right?
right?
Rogdon.
Please.
Rogdon.
I need him to say it one time.
He has. He said it many
He
times.
says it many times.
He says-
I watch his tutorials with the sound off.
Well, that doesn't work. You have to understand what he's talking about.
Drawings are finished.
Even still, where he talks about he didn't like the Loomis method. It didn't work for him. But I will sometimes implore the Loomis method if I can't get something at the right angle that I want it to.
It's easiest.
And eventually, at that point in time, just like you said that you used it, you don't use it anymore because you
Now it's
moved
just
past
built
it or
in.
whatever the case is. So by that point in time, after I used it, it might help me to understand the way that moves. And that's the same thing with these geometric and geographic forms that they're going to have. You know what? Maybe we should try to compose with geographic forms.
Geographic.
We'll have little Louisiana would be a boot.
I think you could
I think
still
Kentucky is in the shape of a fried
What do you
chicken
think
leg.
Kansas would be.
Not sure. Huh?
What do you think Kansas would be? Arkansas.
A mess. But
A pile of trash.
that's-
Wow. Don't talk about the white people.
so of course, circles. I think circles are pretty common because it's interesting again. Because look at the wine glass. You got a circle and a wine glass. I would have thought that would be kind of a triangle, right?
What? How does that make sense?
Well, it does because that's what he used. Well, I'm kind of sus on whether or not that's actually what he used, but let's just say it is. Again, circle. Now this one he has. You have the circles to get the roundness, and then and look, he even has like just lines for the form. So you just kind of see this mixture of geographical forms, geometrical forms, geometrical.
There we go. We're getting it. We're
That's
learning.
right.
See, you really gotta have in your mind already what the image is gonna look like, or else you're kind of screwed. You've got to know what you're about to do before you even put lines down, because there's no way you're gonna be able to figure it out from that.
You don't think so?
No.
No, I think you're absolutely right. Well, see here, for instance, okay, you have the chair. Although I'm not sure why the square is overlapping the triangle. Oh well, okay, I guess I do
If
that.
you gave me one of the unfinished, the composition alone, and told me that's a piece of pie, find the pie, and I would just sit there for hours trying to figure out where the hell.
I think that's the easiest one to find.
Is it?
Look at it because
I
it looks
mean,
like a plate with a piece of pie on it. I mean, it's pretty freaking simple.
I guess.
Come on,
Mm.
let me check your coffee cup.
No.
I'm really curious now.
I'm gonna finish it really quick. You'll never be able to.
I smell your breath. The really complicated one is the chief.
Yeah, what's going on there?
I mean, just
Why is
that is a
that
lot of
is
lines, huh?
So many lines.
That is
What's
a lot
the
of
point?
lines to give us what they want. So here we go. We're going to get complicated here.
Now we're getting complicated.
Now we're getting complicated.
Then I gotta leave. My brain is not ready for this one.
The fulcrum lever principle applied to composition. Do what now?
Principal.
Excuse me?
Like a school.
Who? Rule: the heavier the mass or weight, the nearer it should be placed to the middle line of your picture.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, the heavier the mass or weight,
Oh, okay.
the nearer it should be placed to the middle
That
line
makes
of your
sense.
picture.
That makes sense.
Okay, so basically it's kind of weighted.
Teeter-totter.
Yeah.
That's a funny word. Take any opportunity.
Yes, he said this reminds me of the episode where you went over Wally Wood's 22 panels that always work, where composition of the panels was discussed. Absolutely. This is kind of taking it to a different.
That was like baby stuff.
Well, you know what? Yes, but understood that Wally Wood probably had a pretty good understanding of this to put those together. And the reason why he put those together is kind of a cheat guide to this.
He made it look easy. Like putting little geographical shapes into a box. You're a baby. Remember when you used to do that?
Yeah.
Those little geographical shapes.
Little geographical shapes.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. You know, you would have to put. Let's see, New York would fit here, and you.
Exactly.
But so for some reason, you always wanted to put Ohio and Wyoming. It just didn't work right. No, but they just look so similar, I guess. Anyway, I don't even know what they look like. I'm just so saying
guessing.
that, and somebody
I
in
know
Ohio,
Ohio-
watching right now is
Ohio
like, "What the
is
fuck are you talking
weirdly
about?"
square. Like it is weirdly geographic. I know! That was the point.
Wow.
God, right over her.
Somebody totally missed that point. You know what that is? That's a teacher in her. That's
The teacher.
the teacher in her.
Can you tell I was homeschooled?
Yeah, because you keep saying geographical instead of geometrical.
Because you did it first. My teacher.
Yeah, because I taught you. That's why. So anyway, okay. So then the next thing, the heavy weight can be nearest, or the smallest one nearest.
That's it.
Okay, it's like
So it could be anything.
it could be anywhere. It's like it could be really
It could
close,
be a foot,
or
you
it could be really
if you
far
really
away.
want it.
It's like it could be either way. Okay, but you understand though. But it's the weight of the composition, right? It's kind of like if you have a scale, have a a heavier object on it. It's about where you want to put your object line, right? And of course, that's going to translate into distance. Also, that goes back to overlapping, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Place each weight so that it appears to be in balance.
I understand. That.
Okay, yeah. Equal weights should appear to be equal. I agree with that.
Hope it
Yeah,
would be.
yeah.
It's equal.
But the balancing objects need not be similar.
Interesting.
So, okay, like the laundry and the shoe. What an odd thing to decide to pick
I know.
to be. This is our example. I have a laundry bag and a
what was
shoe.
in front of him at the time.
I'm not sure.
It's just like right there. What am I supposed to? Oh, okay.
Right. I'm not quite sure what this is.
Not.
Interesting. So use formal subdivision for symmetrical composition. Okay. So here we go. Here we look. Formal division applies best to subjects of a dignified or religious nature. Whoa.
Dignified or
Whoa. Let me put it. Views and opinions of Andrew Loomis are not reflected in what the charts.
Do we not have one of those?
No.
What do you mean we don't have one of those?
And it says laundry in the shoe. Just to tell you, somebody next time you put a composition together, somebody said, "Oh, what do you use?" "Oh, we use the laundry bag in the shoe composition." Yeah, it's
They'll know
well
what
known.
you're talking about.
Warhol used it all the time. Picasso massacred it. Massacred it because, and that I mean that in a good way. Like he slayed because you could slay, but then the next one is massacre,
You
right?
ever thought about using the shoe in the laundry bag? You know, like you can mix them up.
What if you put the shoe first and then the laundry bag?
What if, hear me out, it was two shoes?
I quit. I bow down. You have broke the secret of art.
Yes, right? Thank you.
Stop.
This is the religious stuff we were just talking
Oh, right. It's very religious. The laundry bag and the shoe.
about.
I feel like that could be like a Middle Eastern proverb or something.
the shoe.
Be as the laundry bag and the shoe.
How are they connected? I don't know.
Shut up.
Anyway,
You could put them both in a dryer, I guess.
yes, but here's where it is. One makes noise and the other is just clothes. So, with that, would you rather be the noisy shoe or would you be the clothes?
When you're inside of a dryer. I'd probably be pretty noisy, to be honest. You know, screaming
I
for
agree,
my life.
especially because you're two shoes instead of just one, because you can't just have one. You have to have two.
I'm greedy like
That's
that.
true. Yes. So we start with the third. Obviously, it's the rule of thirds here on that first one, and of course it goes across the board, but we get more complicated, right? Here's the deal: you have an X, and that's what gives you the none. In the end.
Yes, you know.
How did you know?
Yes, you know.
How did you know? It's got an X.
It looks
It says none.
I get what they mean by this. It kind of looks like stained glass. You know, the way
Oh well, I'm pretty sure that's what it is. You know, in fact, it is largely the formality of design which lends some magnificence to the work of Michelangelo, Rubens, and Raphael.
No, say what you
Those
want.
aren't Ninja Turtles, in case you don't know.
Oh,
We're
so
talking
never
about
mind.
artists.
Forget what
Sorry,
I was going to say. Then.
I didn't want you to be misled.
Okay, but they're not.
I
Ninja
feel like that
Turtles,
joke
But are they
was-
teenage?
That
or
was
mutant?
such a bad dad joke. Well, that depends on who you ask.
What I was going to say.
Michelangelo was severely jealous of Leonardo.
Mm.
Hence why he painted the Sistine Chapel,
Is that how that happened?
pretty much.
Ooh.
Because
Gee.
they were contemporaries. You know, Raphael actually came later, but Michelangelo and Leonardo were contemporaries. Now, Michelangelo was really more of a sculptor than he was a painer,
I'm just
but
thinking
there's
about
kind
the
of like an
turtles.
artistic jealousy there.
I'm
At
just
least
thinking about
that's
the turtles.
what I.
I'm just thinking about the turtles. I literally cannot.
What you know? What?
Anything else.
Here's the thing about the artist Michelangelo. He really had a Raphael personality. He was not the party dude. That might have
But,
actually been
okay,
Leonardo.
But hear me out. They eat pizza.
Well, they were Italian, of course.
Oh,
they did.
okay.
Right. No, they ate pasta. No, I don't know. Actually, at that point in time, I'm not sure if pasta was introduced in Italy at that point in time. Because pasta was actually,
Wow, that would suck.
if I'm not
The
mistaken,
Italian.
I think pasta was actually discovered in
Not
China
pasta.
and brought to Italy.
Really?
I think that's how that works.
Cultural appropriation. First example. Could you imagine eating spaghetti at a Chinese restaurant?
I don't think it was like that. I think it was still low men. But they're like, hey, we'll put some tomato sauce on it. Brava.
And we all have Brooklyn
Whatever.
accents.
Well, you know what the Brooklyn accent actually comes from, right?
Brooklyn.
No, but it's because of the majority of Italians that actually came over.
Yeah, well, that makes sense.
Yeah. And then, whatever, But you also have that, and that's why you still actually have that in New Orleans as well, is that there's in New Orleans as opposed to the Cajun Kunas.
Being blocked.
Huh?
Being blocked by something.
Ah,
They're trying to cut you out, these dirty bastards.
that's right. My own equipment.
I know.
Hi.
There we go.
Okay, but like
These are beautiful
in New
kids.
Orleans, that's the thing too, because there's a lot of Italians that came there, so that accent is still there too. Yeah, absolutely.
I knew about
The mafia actually ran New Orleans there for a time.
Oh,
True
man.
story.
That could have been fun. But I wasn't around.
Okay, this composition is boring. Now, here's the thing that gets me, is introducing informal subdivision. I have tried this.
What is
This
going
bugs the
on?
shit out of me.
What is going on?
Okay, so basically,
It feels like it's just
okay, I'm
chaos.
just going to kind of give this a rundown. This is plan of subdivision of his own. This is Loomis, okay? This is in Loomis's head. It offers great freedom to the artist. I don't know if I will. Oh, look at that. Brown dog's in there. What's up, Eric?
Yo, there it is in emojis.
There's
Love those emojis.
absolutely. You got to love
Maybe you
Eric.
should check my drink. I don't know.
It's exhaustion. Oh, yeah, I guess that holiday's tomorrow.
Oh, that
That's
holiday.
why. Yeah, that holiday.
That holiday.
That holiday. Easter.
The ones where the bunnies are shitting out eggs. Just left and right.
At least that's what we said. That's a whole composition of its own. So anyway, first you draw any optional perpendicular line. I added the line
I
part.
love that word.
Do not place this at the middle of your composition.
Because then it would be basic.
It'd be very formal.
Basic.
This is like the equivalent of Casual Friday's composition.
Casual Fridays are a lot more relaxed than whatever this is. I don't know what's happening.
Well, you just throwing a line anywhere. You just kind of just throwing it out there.
Line anywhere.
It's like composition jazz. You just
Hate jazz.
yeah. I know.
Hate jazz.
I don't hate jazz.
Mhm.
Second, draw diagonal one way from either side. Okay.
Yeah, that makes sense to me. I understand.
And then at intersection, draw horizontal. Oh shit, I've been doing this the wrong way.
What?
Yeah. No, I totally get this.
Oh no.
Okay. So you got your composition, you draw a line, then you draw the diagonal from somewhere. And now you draw another. Okay.
This looks like a cracked phone screen. How are you understanding this?
I wasn't until just now. Didn't I say that? Hey, Dennis, welcome to the show. Dennis said, I tried this before. It was okay. I think it's mainly to get your brain to think outside the box if you're stumped. Yeah, I think so. I can imagine that. Because at this point, at some point in time, you start using these type of things.
What's
And
your
it just,
built in,
you just kind of go, yeah. I mean, that's what you're doing, like Kim Jong G. Kim Jong G. G.
G?
No, it's G.
G?
Yeah, you draw like a G, trying to be a G,
Like a G.
like a G, like a G. A.
No, stop it. Stop
Our
it.
style.
Stop it now.
so yeah, you draw a single diagonal to any rectangle produced, like this or this, not this. So you don't want an X, but there's an X. I don't understand that. Now draw a new horizontal at any intersection. Draw new perpendiculars at any intersection. And then now add more new. Golly, this hurts my head. Jeez. Kim Jong-ji? Yes, G.
If only we had like.
What's funny about this is, in all honesty, you keep writing it out. Doesn't mean I
It
know how to
doesn't-
pronounce
Yeah,
it.
exactly. That was the problem.
That's it.
Just like
I've heard it,
voice clip.
G, because modern day James. You know modern day James? He does art tutorials too. Modern Day James had a whole series tutorial, huh?
Well, he's seen old timey.
Oh, okay. So you haven't seen futuristic James either. No. Then I'm thinking, okay, well, modern day James did a whole tutorial where it's like draw like a G. That was the name. That was the name of it. And so he was trying to train himself to draw like Kim Jong-ji.
Sounds right up your alley. Very dad pun like.
I don't come on here to be insulted. It's just a perk.
Why do you keep taking me on? It's just a perk.
I should just let you. I should just go let you do it by yourself next time.
Let's not do that.
You know what? Add more new diagonals or perpendiculars as you choose. As new spaces are created by this kind of division, no two spaces are duplicates. Remember not to see. He's got some really hit. It's like I want to say motto. Remember to motto.
So much.
Mike says, I love Kim Jong-ji. I miss him absolutely. That was a shock when he passed. I think it was last year or year before last.
How old is he?
Not old at all.
What was it from?
I think it was an aneurysm, if I'm not mistaken, or a heart attack. I'm not positive. But it's just like we keep losing, like Toriyama this year.
I think it was a heart attack.
Think it was a heart attack?
Yeah, he was 46 or 47.
Yeah, he was.
He was so stressed out. Calm down.
Because they're trying to use his compositional lines.
Yeah,
it's like diagonal here, diagonal here, diagonal here. Anyway, build in your subject as adhering as much as possible to the structural lines you have created. Don't give up. See, he even gives you. Yeah, okay. Jared said it was a heart attack. See, but even Loomis realizes at the end of all this, he's like, don't give up, because at this point in time, halfway through this, he's like, I can't believe I'm doing this shit. And here's a demonstration of it. With the little weird elf people.
So he invented this method, right?
I guess. That's what he says.
So what you're telling me is he made it all up.
Well, yeah. Well, here's the deal. But of course, obviously, it's based on principles that he's already understood. Right. You get bored with using Y all the time. And then the cube was just not working for him. So.
But basically what I'm saying is he made it all up.
Right. And so now here's some figure compositions based on informal subdivision. So it's almost like, okay, here are these lines, and these lines are just kind of a guide for you to visualize what you want to do. Hey, look, it's still hitting with the snakes.
Finally.
So now we kind of understand. So there you have the overlapping. Hell, except he added a bowl. I don't think the bowl was there to begin with.
Spiced it up.
So again, he says informal subdivision is purely creative, not mechanical. So let's make thumbnails. The divisions here suggested the subjects and arrangements. So it's basically to give you a freestyle, formal, informal viewpoint, right?
Yes.
Okay. So here's the deal. Let's look at this. Let's see here. All right. We have compositions using triangles. All right. I can't see it on the screen. Let me pull it up on mine. And let me drop this behind there so we're not distracted by it. All right, excellent. So, okay, so this is going to be kind of a little more played down, right?
Okay.
But it's still going to, it still has some of those elements that we were looking at as far as what we were looking at Loomis methods. So here's the deal. And I'm winging this, mind you. I'm just going.
I feel like the last guy was too.
Just diagonal here, diagonal there, wherever, man. Just do it. Just do it. It's like that. That's when we see Loomis was starting to discover marijuana, and he was just going for it, huh? All right. Let me pull this off of your screen so I can see it. All right. So here's what we're looking at. Of course, this is like as always. I always like to go back to the Etherton brothers. These guys put this stuff out there for free, which is funny to me because you kind of go, "Oh, it's free. Nobody's paying for it." Yet these guys, every time they have a Kickstarter, are hitting millions of dollars for these books. I have 4 of them. Unfortunately, I'm not able to get. They have a Kickstarter out right now for all their books. Unfortunately, I need 5, and the way that they have it set up, I can't afford to get 5, 6, and 7. But they have a Kickstarter out for 7. I haven't checked out their how to think while you write, which I think would be pretty interesting to check out.
It's not. Is it a writing book for comics?
Yes.
Or just in general?
Just in general writing, I think.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
So it's not an art book.
Well, no. What they have out. They have these. These are free tutorials that you can pick up right now at the Etherington Brothers Blogspot.
Well, these are art.
Do I still have it? I don't have it out there anymore.
These have pictures.
Yeah,
But the writing book.
But there is a writing one too. But well, no, it's not about pictures on the writing one. So.
I don't want it.
Well, maybe when you decide to start writing. So anyway, we're going to break this down. So maybe you don't have to use so many diagonals and informal designs. So what you have are composition with triangles, right?
Saw that before.
Okay, so if you could see, unfortunately on this, I can't pull. You know what? Hold on, let me do this because I can't pull up any closer on that image. That's an overlay here on StreamYard, but I want you guys to capture this well. So stick with me and let me see if I can't get this window captured better. Whoa!
Oh my gosh!
The world has just changed. What on earth? No, that's not it. Here we go. Right?
It's blank.
No, it's blank.
There's nothing there.
That's because I have to pull it up. Yep.
This is really what the inside of my brain looks like.
This is, yeah, I know.
And there is a toolbar on the side too. I don't use it.
Okay, I know what I'm going to do. I know what I'm going to do. Just hang on there. Don't run, guys. They're like, what the hell is this shit? What is this guy doing? What a joke.
No, they're not saying anything. They left already.
Oh, okay, good.
We're good.
The pressure's off.
Yeah, exactly. You can go back to just staring at this.
Staring at it. All right. Here we go. I have no idea what I just moved. All right.
Got my legs crossed. Got my.
All right. So here we go. Composition using triangles. Yay. This is why I need a producer. Or, an engineer, not necessarily a producer. Okay, so here we go. Oh my gosh, where's my face? You got to see how pretty I am. So here we are. Okay, so we got composition using triangles, right?
What's the difference between using triangles or like squares?
Well, the difference is this one's talking about triangles.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's what we're going to do.
Just
We're going to talk about triangles because I pulled this one up that says about triangles. All right, you don't use whatever you want to use. Okay. Well, look. Here's the deal with triangles, right? Go ahead and use a square to get those arms right. Go ahead. I dare you.
Kind of fun.
Yeah.
It might be broken, but.
Well, you know that guy that you used to like all the time, the animator Ethan Becker.
I do remember him.
Okay. He's really mean.
Yes.
And people got upset because he was mean, but I'm like, fucking right, he needs to be mean. Yeah, that guy. So anyway.
His persona was mad sometimes.
He had microphone always on like a knife or whatever the case is.
That was his thing. It was,
that was exactly his
thing.
thing.
Insulted.
Right. Indie Comics Network says, pay me, I pay you with my presence.
Thinks he's that special. Huh?
Oh, cool. Ephraim's in Machu Picchu. Nice. He says hello. Machu Picchu.
I thought that was a Pokemon.
No, that's wow. This is your daughter that's going to get you canceled. Anyway.
It's inoffensive.
I don't know.
Because it is. It is Pokemon.
No, it's not. It's Pikachu.
No.
I should know.
Before it evolves into Pikachu, it's Pikachu. Raichu is the last one.
Yeah.
Look, I'm probably the only one who's finished at least 3 Pokemon games. For the most part.
And the series.
I watched some of it.
Yeah.
It was
some of it.
Pichu.
Okay, can we stop? We're talking about triangles now.
Yes, sorry.
All right. Anyway.
It's a friend's fault.
Triangles are a simple, diverse, and remarkable layout device. Many key elements are arranged over triangle over triangular foundations. And in fact, Ethan Becker, or Evan Becker.
I think it is Ethan.
It's Ethan, okay.
Pretty sure.
And if you go check out his YouTube too. Ethan Becker has a YouTube.
He does.
That's
He's a professional.
That's under Ethan Becker. Brown Dog says you can do it.
Thank you.
It's,
I like the emojis. It's like a little signature.
yeah. So
I'm
anyway,
gonna start doing it.
okay. So here's the deal. You look at these. Okay, so you kind of look at the 1, 2, 3 here, and it's showing you the breakdown of these triangles, right? Or how you can use these triangles. It's a layout device. Many key elements are arranged all over the triangle foundation. Ethan Becker talks about using that to capture those poses that are really hard that you can't capture. And I have done this. And as long as I can remember this, it helps to capture those poses. Especially hands on the hip.
Oh.
That crap is so aggravating to get sometimes,
Oh
right?
my God.
And somebody's going to be in there, oh, I don't have any problem getting it. Well, you know what? You're awesome. You're just awesome.
Okay, well, my bad. I suck.
So sorry that you're
Sorry,
awesome.
Your Highness.
Ephra says those books are jewels. They absolutely are. We, as artists coming up in this atmosphere, in this community, yeah, there's a lot of bullshit, guys, but there's a lot of great things. Let's just focus on the great things, like people who are absolutely out there willing to share their talent so that they can see more. And the thing that I always like to think about it, Jaden, is that I want people, whatever I learn, I want people to know. I don't want to hold it on to myself. Why? Because one, I want to be inspired by other people's art. And two, I want to read things that I enjoy. And right now, I'm not getting a lot of that out of a certain place that's
So you're hoping
in the
that
West.
your stuff will inspire someone else to make.
Or even just,
So copy.
not necessarily even my stuff for that matter, but just how I come up with my stuff might inspire somebody. And they could go, you suck. I got a better way to do this. And that's fine, as long as you do.
You know
Because
what?
I'm coming after you if you say that.
Oh, no, that's a threat.
That's not a threat. That's a
Record.
promise.
Well, you know what I say to that? I'm gatekeeping
That's
that
it.
shit. It's all mine. Y'all don't get to know. I'm not telling you how I do what I do. It's not leaving the dome. Y'all don't get to know.
It's because you're scared.
Scared of what?
You're just so scared.
Scared?
It's not your fault.
Oh, scared?
It's not your fault.
Scared of how crazy talented I
Jaden,
am.
Jaden,
Without even
Jaden,
having
Jaden,
tried.
Jaden. It's not your fault. It's not your
Stop.
fault.
What is happening? I feel like I'm about to wake up from a coma.
Somebody out there gets that. Anyway, triangles. It's from Goodwill Hunting.
Oh, come on.
Golly, get some text. Triangles have a completeness which is satisfying to the eye. They link elements, draw focus, and create an endless visual loop. Remember that what I was talking about earlier with Aaron Blaise, he directed Brother Bear for Disney. He did a lot of he didn't do Puma. That was I can't remember his name either. He does stuff on 21 Draw, but Bancroft. That's Bancroft did Puma.
I've never seen
He did Nyla. If I'm not mistaken, I think Aaron Blaise did Nyla. And thanks. Look, see, High Five Studios knows it. That's what I'm talking about. Man, that's a hell of a high five. I love that. I do. See, High Five knows Goodwill Hunting. Absolutely. One of my favorite movies. It was a good movie. It was a good movie. I saw that when I was in high school. So how is your life bringing you a sense of peace?
It isn't.
It right now it's triangular.
It's trying.
So that's why I'm going to do that. You know what that is?
Bringing peace.
Yeah. So yeah,
It
don't
can happen.
don't ask questions. You see that? Anyway, so yeah, look, see, all right, that's what I'm talking about. Look, you're giving me a high five. That's what High Five Studios is all about, baby.
Only one?
Oh
I'm right
wow.
Here.
But you didn't high five the camera. That's why.
Five you in the face.
You're like, see, you're so contrarian. This is exactly what I was talking about earlier. Anyway, so points the way. See, the triangles point the way. So here are 5 quick ways to implement triangles into your layouts. So you have the endless loop. That's what Aaron Blaise was talking about. That composition. It's kind of like your line of beauties we were talking about in a way. So that with that, you know, I got the hands going because I'm trying to keep that's how I keep my brain moving. You see? So
It's like
point.
good.
So here are 5 quick ways to implement triangles into your layouts. Points the way. Key elements located at corners, kind of like your rule of thirds, right? And then, of course, you have your negative space. I really want to understand negative space better.
Yeah, it doesn't.
So,
Because that means you get to draw less.
absolutely. Then you have framing, obviously. Okay, so that's just like a guy in a cave, right? Just basically just a guy in a cave is framed into that, and it's not, and it's a little rounded out, so doesn't have to be so triangle. And then I don't understand that
I'm trying to understand you.
one. So character designs feel more iconic if features are placed along or at the point of triangular underpinnings. Huh. I never thought about that. Like, okay. What the hell? I don't know what's happening over there. There's some stuff in there. Anyway, so you have the triangles are kind of helping you get an idea for your character design, right? I don't know how I would use that really. Are you trying? Well, look, okay, I'm looking at you, right? So yeah, you see, you totally are. Look at the camera. Look at the camera. All right, now give it a good face look. All right, but see, you are. See, now if that hat was in the right way and the ears are coming up, that could be your 2 points for your triangle and coming down. There you go. Oh, look,
Sideways.
that's it. That's a character design right there. You've done it.
Yeah, I
You've
feel like
made
this
it.
is copyrighted. This may be taken.
Thank you, Mike. So important, you don't always need all 3 corners of the triangle to be contained within the frame. So, okay, so that's part B. I totally skipped that, right? There is really no rule on how you use triangles within your compositions. Well,
What are we doing here?
I'm done. I mean, why even do this?
You're just telling me to have triangles,
Oh, God.
and that's it?
I mean, really. So if there's no, okay, so I tell you what, let's wait. Let's see what happens. There is really no rule in how you use triangles within your compositions. Okay, no matter what you do, their inclusion always adds strength to your layout. Well, I mean, I guess it makes sense, right? Because you have it's again, it's that considering that loop, right? That goes all the way around. So it's an ever connecting loop. And then you have important. You don't always need all 3 contours. I'm sorry, all 3 corners of the triangle to be within the frame. That's a good point too.
So
Damn, I wish I would have thought of that stuff.
does it stop being a triangle?
Then it becomes a
Does it become like a hexagon?
and
What is- what?
wow. Are you questioning the Etherington brothers?
Maybe.
Yeah, okay.
Maybe we've got some answering to do.
You got some explaining to
You've
do.
got some explaining to do.
You don't even know what that's from.
I
Stop.
get it.
You can't. You don't even know Goodwill Hunting.
Okay, no, I don't know that one. What's the connection?
To what? You got some explaining to do?
What's the
Oh,
connection?
shit, you got some explaining. I can't do the accent.
All I know is
but-
that Fairly Odd Parents used to do a reference to it one time.
Oh, really? That was I Love Lucy.
I know.
You don't know what I Love Lucy
I
is.
know it. Dude, I grew up with you. You used to put on that garbage all the time.
I
The
did not.
Dick Van
I
Dyke
was
Show.
never an I Love Lucy watcher.
You weren't? Not even
No.
once?
I've seen the great
To be fair, they
episode.
all look the same. All kind of bleed together.
Fair enough. Anyway, character poses are the perfect place to implement the triangle for a dynamic, bold attitude. See, look, hand on the hip. That's what I'm talking about. So a fun exercise is to randomly divide your entire page up into triangles and then use those to dictate the design. Just let your imagination go. Totally going to try to do that.
Tell me to just do whatever I want.
That's it.
So, I'm happy now. I've been doing it right this
That's
whole
not what they
time.
mean because I feel like you're taking that
Dude,
the wrong way.
I've had it right this entire time.
I feel like you're taking that the wrong way.
No, this is what they wanted, right? They're not telling me it's not.
Point taken. So anyway, so here's another one that we're going to go over real quick. because it's getting late and I'm wearing down. Two-line composition. Now, like I said earlier, Alice said when I made the statement on this morning on Sketchy Saturday, which of course you can always go back and check out. We had a pretty interesting conversation this morning, especially about mood boards and things like that. Daphne Lage, Mark Dudley also on there. But also, when I made the statement about the rule of thirds, she made a joke about, oh, is there a rule of twos? Well, kind of there is, because here we go. It's a two-line composition. Without a doubt, one of the simplest, fastest, and most powerful composition structures to give your art a bold, striking layout is to base your drawing around two lines. I know you didn't see that coming. These two lines can be straight or curved. They can cross or be separate. It works no matter the shape of your frame.
If you want to have gay lines.
If
Representation matters.
wow. Really?
It does.
Really?
Ask Twitter.
Really? I feel like that's not what they mean.
No,
I really feel like that's not what they mean.
that's what it means.
I really feel like I really
If you
feel.
look hard enough, you can find relationships in any shape. They're just really close. Come on. Come on. It's not funny. It's beautiful.
Oh my!
It's beautiful.
Oh my gosh!
Don't flash the thing.
How have you been? You look good. I'm feeling neurotic. I've been feeling a little neurotic lately.
Not ready for this.
That's probably already taken by an indie comic book or a terrible tequila.
One right after the other.
That's right. That's what you do to me. Anyway, so these two lines can be straight or curved. They can cross or be separate. It works no matter the shape of your frame.
Separate.
Stop talking about this. Stop. So you don't need to run every detail of your image along the two lines. And we saw that, right? When we were looking at Loomis earlier on, right? We saw that he used these compositional lines, but not necessarily, those lines weren't necessarily what added to the whole thing.
Yes.
Absolutely, right? So you don't need to run every detail of your image along the two lines, but by placing the key focus items, figures, typography along your two lines, you'll achieve a very readable, iconic design. And here's what's great. You use those two lines and add some triangles in there. Boom!
Yep, we figured it out.
Boom! Composition explosion.
Triangles are already kind of lines.
Composition explosion.
Composition explosion?
Yes, but there's three lines.
Mm.
So you have your iconic design. Now, spatial composition is all about arrangements of objects on the page. These objects naturally divide up the space as we place them in our drawings. Now, the two-line approach works so well in part because it divides the space in a clean, immediate way. Immediate. It's like right there.
We
It's
gotta
in your
hurry.
face.
We
It
gotta
is
get
in
it
your
out of the
face.
way.
It's right there. It's
Why are we in such
boom.
a rush?
Wow. It's composition, baby. It's composition. Composition explosion. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about.
That was not our style.
That was our style.
That was
That's
not
so
our
our
style.
style.
Also, I cannot get back
Our
on
style.
screen.
Huh?
My chair is all jagged and I can't get on screen.
That's not our style at all. Look, you
I'm
unfocused.
just
The camera's like, I can't even with you. I can't even with you. Camera's all like, I can't even with you.
I hate that stupid song.
I don't even know what you're singing.
It's 21 Pilots.
That's why. And you can only
Good.
you can use two lines not only to divide space, but also to build objects, environments, poses, and characters. Yeah, they do this a lot, actually, especially when it comes to vehicles. This is stuff that you would have to really practice putting on there.
Something I never do.
The Hot Five Stu says, solid tips here for beginners and pros. Absolutely. Absolutely. And Athington Brothers always brings it. So, like I said, always check it out. There is a B to this.
There's a B?
There's a B.
There's a B?
There's a B. Don't go look at Don't do that. Don't do that. Just don't. I got to find it now. Hold on, because this is not how. Here we go. All right. So two-line composition, part B. All right. So,
Hello.
two-line
Where'd
composition.
you go?
Surprise. Two-line composition approach can be used on almost anything, but it is particularly useful for planning your environmental layouts.
Yeah, that's good.
Here's a set of different ways to implement this idea to give you some inspiration for your own designs.
Look, it's a V.
And it's a triangle. It's a triangle. See it? I see the triangle.
No, I see it.
And look, Brown Dog's got triangles all over the place.
God, Brown Dog, calm down.
And
It's too many. He's triangled all over.
so I'm going to go through these quickly because we're about to wrap this up. So anyway, so then you have curved. It's a curved triangles, usually called curved triangles.
Really?
No.
You're just making stuff up now.
And then you have the path,
lying.
because that's another compositional thing too. That there's so much that you can use here. Is a pathway. Is to bring out your focal point, and that's kind of what your focal point here being carrot from One Piece, and what? And anyway, so you have the line that goes up like that. See, it's a pathway. So that's part of a compositional frame. Same thing here. It's a pathway to help you see your focal point there. What? The thing about these type of things, I've tried this stuff, and I think I get too complicated with my lines.
Probably.
I think it's very easy to get complicated with your lines. And then you do that, and it complicates the whole thing. You lose focus on it.
Yeah.
So maybe if you just dumb down.
This is as dumb as it gets, just some lines.
Just some lines,
Some
right?
lines.
Well, if I dumb it down some more, maybe it will work better. I think it's funny that this line has like a thick and thin on them. So
it would definitely help to make it more readable.
and that's not exactly how I thought that composition was going to go. Like if you look at that composition right there before we get to the lines, right? I'm thinking, okay, so this is going to be one line here and then some squiggly lines here. No, that's not it at all. In fact, we're more focused on the negative space with that. So that's interesting. Oh, what about this? What?
The Twin Towers.
Stop!
I'm sorry.
What the hell is wrong with your generation?
I don't know. We weren't there, so it's like. Forget.
We didn't make Pearl Harbor jokes.
You did.
Y'all are diminished. Huh?
Yeah, Joe missed an opportunity. It's not my fault. Sorry.
It is your fault. We're talking about your generation. And then, of course, okay, this makes sense. You have your pathway. I have used this before. I try to use it in a Calico Shard, which is also available from Arrow Comics by Randy Zimmerman.
Go buy his thing, so shut up.
Anyway, but then, of course, last but not least, see. So these examples show quite literal interpretations of the lines, but of course, the effect can be far more subtle. And we see that we just blown all that out of proportion. I mean, basically. So, with that being said, Jaden, I'm going to disappear. There you are. So, Jaden, so now that we've done that, how do you feel about your confidence in composition?
I have none. I actually lost confidence as this went on. It's kind of incredible.
Oh, look. Wow, a show where C knows what he's talking about. He's not just a pretty face. By God, no, the pretty face show is at Thursday, 8 p.m. Eastern.
What do you do there? You just stare at the camera?
I'm just going to stare at Chad. That's all this is.
Oh, at him specifically?
At him specifically.
Okay.
Look, there's a heart.
Oh,
and a curved triangle. Oh, look at him.
I love it when your boyfriend shows up.
And he, of course, again, it's Ethan Twin Brothers. But if you check out earlier, if you just coming into the show now, when it publishes, guys, go back and check it out. If you got comments, leave a comment. We like to talk to you even after the show. Check it out because we did go over some of Loomis's compositions too. So some of it was complicated. Some of it was quite easy to think and consider. So, Jaden,
Yep.
I don't even really want to know where to find you.
No, you don't.
It's bad enough that you
Under
live
your
down the
bed.
hall from me.
Your
Mike
bed.
says this was a good show. Thank you, Mike. Jaden, where can they find you?
Probably hanging with your mama.
You might be. Aren't you supposed to go swim right over there?
Isn't that off? Okay. You can find me on Facebook. I'm doing stuff with Daphne Lage right now. Got some stuff out. Did stuff for Snowpaw. Did a cover. Did a print.
Available on Backer Kit.
What can we? If we
On
want to,
Backer Kit.
if we want to see you,
I need to write this down.
if we want to see more of your art, where will we go?
Nowhere.
Daphne.
Daphne. She's taking all my time. I don't know. I wish I could post.
Well, if you'd like to see more of my art, you can always check out Landing Art at
Always like
LANNING art.com. And of course, follow me on Instagram. I'm trying to build up a following over there. Who knows what that's going to turn into because Threads is not working out. As always, check out. I've got some stuff coming up. Captain Save a Ho from Dr. Flaw Comics. I think there's a Doghouse 2 coming out soon. And who knows what else is going to be in the works. Oh, there's also a little something coming up Thursday, if I haven't mentioned it. What is it? Random ramblings of various persuasions. So check
Say
that
that
out.
5 times fast.
We're not going to talk about comics.
And
We're not
there
going to
I
talk
go.
about art unless they come
Hi.
up.
There.
And then, of course, Wednesday night when we have a whole group of people, I think Carissa, Grant, and Lori Calcatori will be here. We'll be watching Fantastic Four 1994, the Roger Corman one, which was never meant to be released. Keep that in mind. So we're going to Mystery Science Theater this bitch Wednesday at
A time. We'll put up a card later.
at a time where we'll put up a card later. Again, as always, next week we'll do Art Style Kamikaze, and I think what we're going to do is we're going to go and over some of the artwork of your mortal enemy, Chris Pachalo, the guy you want to punch in the face because he's so good. And I really want to learn how he spots those blacks. So, anyway, with that,
I can't say that anymore.
no, that's not what that means. Jeez. Anyway, with that, till next week. Later.
Bye.
Wait, I hope that's right.
Did we do it?
I don't know.